All right, so let's get into our more custom approach to traction. So we really want to go granular. So if you look at the slide, we've got little vectors of ships. And what we mean by that is, like, obviously in the old days, in the 1700s, these explorers would go out and send out ships to new areas to see if there's land, if there's resources available, and they would come back and obviously tell their friends, and if there was something, they would send more ships and send more explorers to explore that area. Now, if you had to take that same thinking and run a parallel thought alongside budget and testing different channels, so you could put budget towards a specific channel and to see if it brings back rewards. And what is a reward? I guess in this, it is leads or conversions. It could obviously, and this is also depends on your business objectives. It would be leads and conversions if your objective was act or convert. But it could also be for reach. So if you want to get more impressions um, per 10 Rand that you spend, you'd want to look to see the cheapest cost per 1,000 impressions that you could get. Is that through Google's display network? Is that through specific audience types in that display network? Is it on Facebook? So depending on your business objectives, that's really the type of ship that you want to be sending out. All right, so small budget. If you've got a small budget, you want to be looking ideally at the one of three channels for the first 6 months. And this really, again, is dependent on objectives. So I'd hazard a bet that if you on a small budget, you really would want more sales. So really the objective here is act or convert. So act would speak to lead generation and convert would speak to actual sales. So you need to start thinking about, okay, well, what are those channels that will drive that? What strategy will drive act and convert? If you have a large budget, then you could use all three channels, but we would recommend that you favor one channel. And in terms of budget spread, you would look at 2/3, 1/6, 1/6. So put 2/3 of budget to a specific channel, 1/6 of that budget to another channel, and then the other 1/6 to the third channel. And the three channels we would look at, and this excludes email, but the three channels that we would look at would be AdWords, then you have social media or organic. So you want to be optimizing, continuously searching for traction opportunities within, depending. So if you obviously have a small budget, you would only look for traction opportunities within the channel that you choose. If you've got a larger budget, you would look at traction channels across all three channels. But let's say you pick up some traction on the channel that's got 1/6 of the budget, you would then have to make a decision whether or not to move budget across to that better performing channel. All right, so each channel has its own KPIs. And again, you're optimizing performance for 6 months and you reassess against your KPIs. So what does traction opportunities look like in AdWords? You would first look at campaigns, which is a more macro level view at it in terms of your conversion rates. Once you understand which campaigns are driving the most conversions, you could go even more deeper and look at campaign detail, like keywords, and in terms of which keywords you're choosing, which ones are driving the most conversion rates. You've also got, if it's Gmail ads, is there a specific copy or design within that Gmail ad that's working? If it's display advertising, is it a specific ad or message that's working? So you can go into detail within a campaign to find those traction points. And again, it's against your KPI. So it's conversions, it could be reach, etc. Then you would need to, and this is where many digital agencies get it wrong, where they just purely focus on AdWords performance, and that's cost per click, impression share, and they don't really look at the integration of AdWords into analytics. And within Google Analytics, you can start seeing user behavior. So how does the campaign perform? So, if you're only looking at, here's an example. So if you're only looking at AdWords as as a AdWords KPI, so cost per click as an example, but weren't really looking at the cost per conversion, which has been triggered within AdWords, analytics, you're not going to be understanding. So even if you've got a high cost per click on a specific campaign, but you could be getting a lot more sales through that campaign. So your cost per click is high, but you're also getting many sales. So just purely at an AdWord level, you might think that campaign is not actually working, but it could actually be because you're driving more sales. So you're willing to pay a higher cost per click. And that's where that integration comes in. So you really want to be looking at AdWords KPIs and marrying it to a specific landing page. And we use Unbounce or Google experiments to really test the interactions and conversions on that specific page. And then, of course, you have adverts, high click-throughs. So any specific advert that has got a high click-through, you'd want to try and push more budget towards, or remove or disable ads that aren't working for you. For SEO, you definitely need to be looking at keyword opportunities within Google Search Console, and we'll get to that a little later. It's a really cool tool to be able to understand where your keyword opportunities lie if you've integrated Google Analytics and Google Search Console together. Then you have blog posts that start to rank and drive traffic. So we've seen that one specific blog post start to drive traffic, and literally has been able for us to be able to pivot into different areas within digital marketing. It's also allowed us to carve a niche within that topic, and build supporting content around that specific piece of content. So it does open up doors if you start ranking just for one blog post. And then, of course, product related pages that start to rank and drive traffic. Social media attraction opportunities. So you want to be testing content themes that perform well. And performance could be determined by a low cost per engagement or a very high reach. You also could look at product related campaigns that perform well. So you might have a number of products, but you might find that one product or service performs the best on social media. Then you have audience types with low cost per engagement. So an audience type within Facebook could be an email list, a custom email list. It could be interest groups. It could be your fans. It could be your fans' friends. So there's a number of audience types that you could look at and then try and figure out which one has the lowest CPE. So in ending, what are your current traction points? Or if you don't have a campaign yet, what could those traction points look like? So jot those down. Let us know what your thoughts are if you have any questions around that.